All right, that's very good. Let's move on. Any questions so far? So we have seen the technological environment. I think let's move on from there. We also need to look at the intellectual property rights, IPR, intellectual property rights, patents, copyrights, and so on. This is another part of the technology because every new invention must be patented in today's context. Okay, I think there are only one or two products still not patented. So if you remember, Coca-Cola's formula, even Pepsi, I believe, is still not patented. It's still one of the top industrial secrets. The reason obviously is this, that once they patent, after 19 or 20 years, it has to be made public. Anyone can copy and use the same formula. So that's the reason it is considered to be one of the top industrial secrets of the world. So we already have looked at the technological environment. In terms of internet stats live, we have seen how many people use internet, how many people use emails or Gmails or whatever technological tools or search engines they use. It's all there. Okay. I think we can move on quickly. Next is the political and legal factor. This is an important factor when it comes to international business because politics defines everything. That's why one of the first thing that you as an international marketer must check is how politically stable a country is. If country is not politically stable, then it's not worth doing business because the policies can keep changing as and when the government changes. Now let's look at some of the examples like laws. Like in Thailand, no foreign person can own more than 49% of the business in Thailand. In Malaysia, it is 70-30. 30% of the ownership must be belonging to a local partner. So there is no 100% ownership. Okay, I don't know whether you are aware of this. Malaysians, are you aware of this? Okay. Then there are a number of licensing and permits that you need to have. You need to have licenses and permitting for pollution, from water authority, from land and earth, from urban, from rural, from village office, I don't know what not. There'll be hundreds of licenses. That's why many industrial parks nowadays get every license for you. All that you need to do is to go and start your business there. You don't need to run from pillar to post to get your licenses. This is, especially a country like India, getting licenses are very difficult. You have to move from department to department to get licenses. And when corruption is very rampant, getting a license is not easy. You have to grease the palm of every officer to get your license. If not, they will just make you to run pillar to post. So, but there are countries, which are very, very business investor friendly, and they make sure everything is done for you and so on and on. Then again, look at the tax structure of any country. In some countries, the tax structure is very, very high. For example, you need to pay 30%, 40% tax. Like America, the tax is very high. Okay. Probably Malaysia may have a very rationalized taxation system. Most of the European countries, the tax rate is very high. If you see, obviously they give a lot of benefits to the society, That's another thing. They have unemployment benefits, they have old age benefits, they have health insurance, they have social security, welfare measures. All these are available because of the high tax structure. So if you come down to Asia, many countries don't give any of these because their tax rate is not that high. So, but as a businessman, you need to see which country offers you a reasonable rate of tax. If the tax is very high, you can't afford to do business. Again, look at the tariffs. Tariffs are customs duties, import-export duties. So some countries, the import-export duties could be very high as 100%. Like for example, in Malaysia, if you want to import foreign cars or you want to buy foreign cars, it's very expensive because Malaysia wants to encourage people to buy local cars, local made cars. Like China, they have 105% tariff on chicken that is shipped from the USA. So, different countries can use different tariff as a mechanism to encourage or discourage trade. So if you don't want, to import something from, let's say, Malaysia to China, what you do is you increase the customs duty. That's the easiest way. So that will discourage people because that will reduce their profitability.
Then, sorry, sir, again, yeah. I can see on the page, my screen 24 number page. 24 number slide, sorry.
Oh, I've moved on to 34. I think sometimes this doesn't move. Now, how about now? 32? Can you see?
Yes, sir. Now 32.
Okay, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Then currency risk. What is the currency fluctuation? Currency fluctuations are, the devaluation of currencies when in comparison to US dollar. Now look at Iran. I was told by my Iranian friend that the currency is devaluated so much because of the economic sanctions that, a month's salary cannot buy them a pair of jeans, Just imagine the situation. It's so bad. Now you see 39,000 Iranian rial for 1 USD. That means you work whole month, you cannot buy a pair or 1 kilo rice. That's the situation in Iran. I'm sure many countries have this kind of, devalued currencies because of different reasons, mostly because of economic sanctions. So if the currency has no value, then you have to think twice whether it is worth moving to that country to do business. So you have to always look at the fluctuation in currency, whether it is appreciating or depreciating on a continuous basis. So that way there are some stable currencies, like the Malaysian currency is quite stable all the time. Now look at the political and legal forces. That's another part that we need to look at. So political, the role of government in society, we discussed this earlier, especially quoting China's example, how China is controlling, especially, the education sector, healthcare sector, real estate sector, and so on. We have seen that, okay? Then we also have seen the political risk factor. For example, in Malaysia, the political risk is quite higher now because, we had changed the government 3 times in the last 3 years. Which means there is political instability in Malaysia. And when there is too much of political instability, nobody wants to do business. This is the advantage for China. In China, they are politically stable. There is no instability, which means the policies, the rules, everything is going to be there. They won't change overnight. But other places, as the government change, the rules change, the business negotiations change. You know, for example, the first government in 2020, they were negotiating a high-speed rail network between Malaysia and Singapore with China, you know. And when the recent government changed, they dropped the whole project, which was worth, you know, quite a bit of $1 billion, you know. They just dropped the project. So these kind of scenarios are quite common, you know, when government changes, projects get dropped because of political ideologies and differences. Okay, so we have to see what is the ownership risk. Is there any threat of confiscation? Is there any possibility the government can take away your property without asking you? That's possible, especially in communist regimes. This is very common. Government taking over your property or business. They don't have to give any explanation. But in a democracy or socialist or you know, capitalist regime, that's not very easy. But in a communist regime, the government, that's what, you know, Russia used to do in the 60s and 70s. They could take away anyone's business, anyone's land without being questioned for any reason. So is there any risk of ownership? Can government take away your land without even giving you any compensation in the safety of the nation or in the interest of the nation? You know, those things are a real risk that we need to, because you're going to invest your money there. Any operating risk? Operating risk mostly comes through change in laws, environmental standards, tax changes, terrorism. You know, for example, you want to do business in Nigeria, armed insurrection, and they have a group of armed insurrectors called what is that? The northern Nigeria. They have anyone knows? They kidnap kids, and they even kidnap businessmen and so on. So those kind of issues are a real problem in today's context. Now you go to Afghanistan, that is another operating risk. Today, nobody wants to do business in Afghanistan because any day Taliban can make any laws. That is possible. So there is no continuity, consistency in terms of policies and governance. That's operating risk. Okay, then fund transfer risk. Will the government come out with a ceiling on how much money you can transfer from this country to another country? For example, certain countries like for example, Somalia or some of the African countries, they say you can only transfer 60% of your profit. The remaining 40% must be spent in that particular country. Be it your own business profit or even your salary. You can't expropriate the all money to your own country. It is not possible. But Malaysia does not have such kind of rule. Malaysia does not have it. So let's say you earn $1 billion, you can transfer $1 billion to your own country. There's no transfer risk. This is another risk, that we need to really look at. So look at the political spectrum from, democratic or autocratic. In a democracy, mostly, you can have radical democracies, liberal democracies, conservative democracies, reactionary democracies, and so on. In an authoritarian government, we can have a pure authoritarian, fascist, communist, and dictatorship. Most of the Middle Eastern countries, if you remember, they were dictatorships, autocratic. Communism, definitely China is a very good example. We don't have fascist governments as of now, I believe. Earlier, Germany was a fascist government, if you have to remember. Okay, authoritarian, there are plenty of examples around the world. So what is the political spectrum that you're going to operate in? Is it a pure democracy or pure autocracy? Each has its own, benefits. For example, a communist regime, the policies are pretty standard, but any day the government can come out with any rule. Democracy, the policies keep changing according to government changes, political changes. There is no continuity and consistency. There is a lot of uncertainty, but nobody will take away your property or land or assets. So, both has got its own positives and negatives, So as an international marketer, you need to weigh the pros and cons, the negatives and positives, the minus and plus, the advantages and disadvantages before you really enter into a country. That's very, very important. So the details are there. You can definitely go through. I wouldn't be going through all this. Okay. What are some of the terms you must remember? Expropriation is total loss of profit. That means government just take away the land and the profit. Confiscation, without explanation, the government can take away your assets. No questions asked, no explanations given. One fine morning, government says, this belongs to me. Okay. Campaigns against foreign goods. This is also quite common, when you're talking about localization of products and services, a lot of campaigns can happen. This campaign can be due to political reasons also. For example, let's say India and Pakistan, they don't see eye to eye. They're always having some kind of animosity. So you can campaign against Pakistani goods or Indian goods. That's possible. Okay. For example, China and Australia recently had a lot of issues. So there were a lot of campaigns against China, the Australian wines. So they stopped importing Australian wines. And then in turn, Australia stopped buying things from China. There is a trade war going on. Then, you have the AUKUS formed, Australia, UK and US, the trilateral treaty with the help of which UK can transfer nuclear technology to Australia to build nuclear submarines, obviously to balance the South China Sea and to counter China. This kind of political environment can create a lot of turbulence. Then when AUKUS was formed, France was very unhappy because France and Australia had some initial treaty for building submarines or purchase of weapon. So France immediately recalled ambassadors from UK and Australia. So there was some kind of political ripples happening there. And then when it's very interesting, when this AUKUS was formed between UK, US and Australia, India was very unhappy because all the while US refused to share nuclear technology to India, citing various reasons. And suddenly there is a double standard. India say it's a double standard. Why not give us? Why only give to Australia? So India is unhappy. Though India is part of the Quad, you remember Japan, India, Australia, and US. They formed the Quad, QUAD, to counter again the South China Sea activity by China. So, and the Quad meeting is going on. Just concluded, I believe, in the United States. Last 3 days, the meeting was going on between these countries. So you find there is a lot of dynamics happening in the political environment, and each of the dynamics is going to have an impact on how business is done. You understand? So this is what you need to do by reading. If you don't read, you will never know all these factors. How this is affecting business, you need to understand. Sorry. Now you see this campaign, this happened last year, okay? In 2020, when pandemic was ravaging, Malaysia came out with this Made in Malaysia campaign, and Be Malaysian, Buy Malaysian campaign was there. So they say proudly made in Malaysia, please support Malaysian manufacturers, avoid purchasing from other countries. They didn't refer to any specific country, but the message was loud and clear. Obviously, 80% of the products are coming from China, in Malaysia. So they're indirectly telling buy more of Malaysian products, buy less of China products. So very interesting campaigns have been run in different countries at different point of time. So I'm sure those in Malaysia will understand Mr. DIY, do it yourself, stores are quite popular in Malaysia too. I'm sure it's popular in China or in other countries too. Okay. Look at the political freedom, if you look at the color, the green color indicates at least, how politically free they are. They are mostly politically free. The blue color says partly politically free, and the orange color indicates not very politically free. So quite a number of African countries, Russia, China, they are not politically free. And partly free, some countries in Africa, some in Middle East. Now if you look at Pakistan, then Afghanistan, they are partly free. But if you look at all the green colors, they are quite free. They are pure democracies and so on. So this will also give you an indication as to how you're going to do business with these countries. We also have full democracies, flawed democracies, hybrid regimes, authoritarian regimes, and so on. So I hope you can read a bit about these countries, and you'll get a kind of idea about what are the characteristics of each of the classifications. This is the political risk map of 2021. If you look at most of the African countries, politically quite unstable. So the question is, do you wish to enter into a country which is politically unstable to do business? Or you want to enter into a country which is more politically stable? That's a question that we need to ask, So if you look at politically stable countries, not many countries are politically stable, except, more stable will be Canada and Greenland, Iceland and something. And then comes United States, Alaska, then Australia, then New Zealand, and so on. And then comes countries like like India, China, Russia, all those. And then if you look at Middle East and African continent, it's a terrible scenario. Okay, so this should give you an indication, hey, am I entering into the right country? Because as I said, if political risk is high, this is very difficult to do business in a country, because political stability defines the paradigm or business paradigm of that country. So you have to really open your eyes and see how politically stable. Like China may be an authoritarian country, communist country, but politically very stable. Their policies won't change every day. You understand? But the red ones, it's quite risky, because any day anything can happen there. So interesting case study for political environmental risk. Even micro and macro political environmental issues can affect your business. The case is, Disneyland in Paris. they went to the French embassy. They were not very happy with the policies. So what they did, they blocked the entrance of the Disneyland, just to show their displeasure on the agricultural and farm policies. This is what the French farmers did. So anywhere, this is a micro political factor based on macro political instability. So this is something that we need to watch carefully and ask the question, is this a democracy or dictatorship? Is the country a free market or government controlled market? Is this a public or private sector customer? Okay. Will there be arbitrary change in policies or rule of law? How stable is the government? These are some of the questions you must try to answer before you embark on a business journey in any country. For example, if you see, the Brexit has created a lot of uncertainties in UK. Things are not as good as it was before. A lot of companies had to move their headquarters from UK to Europe because of this exit. Earlier, they could have their, many of them had their headquarters in UK and they could do business in entire European Union, but that is no more possible today. So when we look at the challenges, most of the challenges in international marketing comes from culture, data. As we say, whoever owns data, he owns the business today. Data determines business in today's context. Okay, that's why there's huge war going on between countries. Who will control the data? And internet is what? Internet is all about data. So you control internet, you control data. You control data, you control business. Or even countries for that matter. So this is something that we have to really understand in today's context, So who are the stakeholders when you are doing business? These are the stakeholders you have to really consider. Okay, we start with customers, distributors, suppliers, expat staff. Definitely you may have some kind of foreign staff working in your company. For example, our Masa University has got a lot of staffs from other countries working here. Then shareholders, home country government, individual politicians, host country government, local workers, pressure groups, competitors, local competitors. There are a lot of host of people we have to really be concerned about, before we can embark on a business journey. You also need to look at, there is something called ease of doing business in your assignment. Okay, a few rankings I would like to share with you for ease of doing business, because that is part of your assignment, I believe. So this is one question you need to ask. How it is easy to do business in another country? Ease of doing business is based on many parameters, indicators. Okay, it could be based on politics, less corruption, policies, real estate rules and laws, infrastructure, tax structure. There are so many indicators for ease of doing business. So let's look at this. Can you see this website or not? Hello?
Yes, can.
You can see this, right? So you can go to this particular website. I'll share it with you. You can have a look at it. So this will indicate what is the level of ease of doing business. So number one, if you see the ranking is New Zealand, number one, sorry, is New Zealand, ease of doing business. So ease of doing business is based on, starting a business, dealing with construction permit, getting electricity, registering property. Then there are other parameters also. Then getting credits, protecting minority investors, paying tax, trading across borders, then enforcing contracts, resolving insolvency. You see, all these are the parameters to define ease of doing business. So according to that, number one is New Zealand, number two, Singapore, number three, Hong Kong, number three, Denmark, then South Korea, United States, Georgia, and so on and on. So if you want to look at Malaysia is number 12. So if you click on a country, for example, Malaysia, you will get to know what are the parameters they have used to measure. Okay. Okay, so they give a lot of parameters, okay? Like for example, if you see the parameters, like for example, for starting a new business, the ranking is 126. That means not very good. Dealing with construction permit, number 2, very good. Getting electricity, number 4, quite good. Registering property, it takes time, 33. Getting credit, 37. Protecting minority investors, 2, that's very good. Paying taxes, 80. Cross trading, borders, 49. Enforcing contract, 35. So there are so many areas Malaysia must improve, if they want to get good grading. Okay, so you see the overall ranking is given there. So you can look at your own country, one by one and see where, what they're faring at. So if you go back and click on New Zealand and see what they're good at. Can you see the website still? Huh? So doing
Yes.
business rank is 1. So what are they good in? Huh? Starting a business, very easy. Then dealing with construction permit is number 7. Getting electricity, 48. Registering property, number 2 ranking. Getting credit, number 1. That means you can get loan very easily. Protecting minority investors, number 3. Paying tax, number 9. Trading across border is 63 because it's a very protected market, That's the reason it's an island nation. Enforcing contract, 23. Resolving insolvency, 36. So the last 3 areas and plus, I think, electricity, these are the areas for them to improve. But overall, if you see, they are doing quite good. So you can look at this particular website. This will give you a very good indicator for ease of doing business. So for example, if you are planning to go to some country, for example, China's ranking is 31. So you have to see what China is good at. What are the areas we need to look at? China starting a business, 27. That means not bad, not very good also. Dealing with construction permit, they got to improve. Getting electricity is comparatively better. Then registering property, okay, not bad. Getting credit is a big issue, That means the banking system needs to be more liberal. Protection of minority investors, not that good. Paying tax, 105, not very friendly. Trading across border, 56. Enforcing contract is very good, number 5. Resolving insolvency is 51, not that good. That means the investors will be left to their own fortune, So this is something, you know, that you need to look at. For example, they need to improve on construction permits, getting credit, paying taxes, trading cross-border, resolving in these are areas of improvement that needs to be done by the China government if they want to improve ease of doing business ranking. Okay, so you lot of, you know, whatever research you do, my dear friends, for your assignment, please take data, you know, tables, then graphs from here and do citation. It's very important. For example, you're planning to go to Nigeria, then, you know, take data from here to show you have done your research. Don't just tell me, you know, you're going to go to Nigeria. What's the reason? You can't give any reason. Or for example, you want to show ease of doing business, you are not showing any data, then how do I give you marks? So why I'm showing you all this business, I mean websites, is that you use them. If you don't use these, you don't get good marks, okay? You are supposed to do your research from all these websites. That's why I'm sharing with you. Clear? Any question on ease of doing business? Do you want to see any other country? Any question on this? I believe no questions. If no questions, we can move on. The next one for your assignment is, you know, there's also a question on, you know, corruption perception index. Correct? So we have to go to Transparency International. I share you the website here. Transparency International. Please refer to this website. So this is a global body it's a global watchdog, in fact, to see what is the level of corruption in each country. Can you see this website? Hello?
Yes, sir. Can.
Yes, sir.
Can. So this website is Corruption Perception Index. Then you can click, you know, this map that you see here that shows the color. The color shows the level of corruption, okay? The darker the color, the more the corruption. Lighter the color, less the corruption. For example, you want to look at China, okay? So China, the rank is 78. You want to look at India, it is 86, high in corruption. Malaysia, Indonesia is 102. Thailand 104. It is Malaysia.
Excuse me, sir. Could you show me the website again?
I send you the link in the chat box. Transparency.org.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So this will give a kind of indication. No? Russia is 129. No? Malaysia, what is the ranking? 57. Not bad. Huh? Malaysia is good. Canada is 11. So who is number one? New Zealand, Denmark, Finland. So most of the Scandinavian countries are less corrupt, if you see. You know, Scandinavian and Europe, less corrupt. And as we come towards Latin America, African countries, and Asia, it is more corrupt. Quite interesting, right? Yes. So this shows what is the ranking. So if you click on the country, you can also download a lot of data, corruption perception index, full data set you can download. This will give you a kind of idea. You can do your research, you can download and copy. I won't do that now. Then okay, so there is a lot of data available here in these websites for you to do your research. Okay, so please explore this particular website, and based on which I hope you will give me some good insights into your assignment. Why are you choosing a particular country? Okay, so one of the tasks that you need to do is you have to do ease of doing business, corruption perception index in comparison to the country in which your business is. So you have to compare your new country versus your own country. That's what you're supposed to do. So that's why I'm sharing with you all this data. With the help of this data, I hope you can give me a very good assignment. So if you don't give me facts, figures, supporting evidence, citations, you don't get good marks, as I said in the first class. So I expect you to do a good assignment with the help of all the sources that I'm sharing with you here. Okay, so now what we have is a lot of case studies. Can you see my PowerPoints?
Yes, can, sir.
Yes. So let's go through the case studies. What did different companies do in different countries when it comes to business environment? Let's look at Red Bull, classical example. Now, this is an Austrian company, Red Bull, but most of the time people think, this is from America. This brand is from America, not from Australia, not from, Austria. So the design, the brand design, the campaigns, everything is designed in such a way that, people think this is more of an American company. So what did they do? They do extreme sports events everywhere. Wherever there is some kind of adventure sports, Red Bull sponsors it. Be it a race or, be it a Formula One or, mountain race or even, the bullfights, bicycle race, you find Red Bull sponsoring these campaigns, So from Indianapolis Grand Prix to Red Bull Air Race in the UK, to Red Bull softbox race in Jordan. You can watch the video in YouTube, softbox race. Okay, it's all very interesting. And these kind of silly campaigns, silly competitions are even, campaign sponsored by Red Bull most of the time. Okay, then they also look like a product which is meant for the global economy. They don't just look at the color combinations used, the logo used, and the packaging, the can size, everything matters a lot, So all this branding shows it's a global brand, not just a local brand. It's not restricted to one country and so on. Okay, so Red Bull really looks like a product from a global economy. It doesn't look like a traditional American soft drink. It is not in a 12-ounce can. It's not sold in a bottle. It doesn't have script lettering like Pepsi or Coke. It looks European. That matters. Okay, so it's diversified its product selection since that article was published. There remains that Red Bull's consistent packaging has helped this brand to go global. So packaging is very important when you want to go global. And this packaging must be appealing to the international consumers. That's another important thing that we need to remember. Let's look at the next example, Airbnb. I'm sure some of you at least must have used the Airbnb facilities around the world. Okay, so this is a community marketplace for people to list their property and book their accommodation around the world. Founded in 2008 from California. Now
Okay,
they
sir.
got 1.5 million listings, 34,000 cities worldwide.
Excuse me, sir.
In January
Which
2015, Airbnb launched a social media campaign called around the hashtag one less stranger. So this particular hashtag, this campaign actually made them very popular. So they say it is a social experiment. So what they're asking people to do random act of hospitality or kindness to strangers, and then post the video and using this hashtag one less stranger. So in 3 weeks after the launch of the campaign, over 3 million people worldwide engaged, created content, or were talking about the campaign and so on. So this is what makes it really global. Dunkin' Donuts, your favorite, not mine. And what did they do? With over 3,100 stores in 30 countries outside the US, Dunkin' Donuts evolved as a global brand. So from Korea's grapefruit culata to Lebanon's manga chocolate donut to Russia's Dunklears, they kept on modifying their product to local culture. So if you don't modify or evolve to local taste, it's very difficult to maintain your international presence. Domino's, another classical example. I'm sure many of you like Domino's pizza. What did they do? So basically, what they did was they kept on reinventing themselves, especially when they came to Asia. They used seafood, and curry in India. This is called localization, inculturation. So if you don't do this, you can't break into the local market. So the best way, you localize your product, and this will also get you the required international attention. ResD is another Australian-based reservation software. This will help you to do the online booking for tourists and agents. So, though it is Australian-based, they don't just project it as just an Australian-based company, but they really project it as an international company. So they will walk us through how easy the service for users. They emphasize the language and currency customization tool. For example, Germans may not speak English, so they say, okay, you have German language, or maybe the Chinese may not be speaking English, so you have the Chinese language, and so on and on. So this kind of customization is very, very important. Another good example is the WWF, World Wildlife Foundation. So they also have the Earth Hour initiative. How you can do this? So they did some kind of experiment where they asked for a blackout campaign, asking people to switch off the lights at a particular day at a particular hour, and the campaign was awesome. The response was fantastic, and so on and on. So all these kind of campaigns make these companies truly global. Another one is the Pearce Trust, Dublin, London. Okay, so they got offices in different cities and countries, but what does it make it a truly international company? Obviously, their Facebook page is very customer engaging. Okay, and they have a lot of content featuring international affairs, making it as a global company. So they just don't limit themselves to the local content, local news, or local activities. They project, they are from UK, from Ireland, from Germany. They keep posting different content from different countries to show that they are a global company. Nike, your favorite, and mine too. Obviously, if you look at all their campaigns, they have been truly global in their presence, okay? And they have always come out with campaigns that capture the audience attention at all points of time. And then MACD, they have been very successful with their localization effort. Wherever they went, they have localized, be it Europe, be it Asia, be it Middle East. They have Mac Arabia, it's a flatbread sandwich, and then they have the Maharaja Mac. In India, they have the vegetarian burger, and so on and on. I'm sure in Malaysia they have the ikan, the MACD ikan, that the fish burger, and so on and on. So it's quite interesting to see how they evolve the palate, the taste buds according to the local preference. This is something interesting. I don't know anybody has seen this. Anybody has got a collection of these bottles. So their bottle caps are the attraction points here, Though this is meant for baby drinks, but they make it so bubbly, chatty, dynamic, and so very attractive for people to buy this particular brand. Have you ever tried this or not? Anybody tried this brand anytime? If not, you can try. They got different flavors, okay? Banana, blackberry, coconut, black currants, etc., etc. UNK, that's another, obviously they deal with the traffic laws, but even this particular company, they have shown that they are truly global through their communication strategies. They cater to people from Florida, Spanish, Portuguese, etc., etc. So all their communications, they have made sure it can cater to multiple people from across the globe. This particular bottle, this was the symbol of Coca-Cola, maybe in the 70s and 80s, obviously these bottles have now disappeared. Okay. In Egypt, Coca-Cola has built 650 clean water installations in the rural village. Okay, and they also sponsor Ramadan meals for children across Middle East. In India, they sponsor school initiatives, especially for rural schools. What are they doing with all this? They just want to tell that they care for the society and they're one with the society. They care for the well-being of the people, and so on and on. So all this effort shows that they are truly global in their effort. H&M, many of the H&M stores closed down in the last 2 years because of the pandemic, because this was meant for an upper middle class and above category brand. So many people stopped buying, and quite a lot of them closed down over a period of time. Even in Malaysia it has happened, but they have been focusing on giving a kind of international or global brand experience even when people do shopping online. So they had the easy to navigate, mobile friendly online shopping experience around the world. So we have seen the social factors, especially the population index. So I won't be taking a lot of time on that. Legal factors, we did refer to this. Please remember, the legal factors move or change from country to country. It varies according to region. For example, East Malaysia, West Malaysia, the part of Malaysia, they got two different rules, A West Malaysian who wants to go to East Malaysia have to go through immigration, just like a foreigner. East Malaysia and West Malaysian wanting to work in East Malaysia should have a work permit. Do you know these things? So these are something, that we must be aware of, the legal, environment in a country. Well, some of this I leave it to your reading. Okay. We got different types of legal system. So please have a look at this legal. Most of it has got, mixed legal system. Most of it are brought from the UK common law, civil law, and so on. Some follow the Sharia law, Muslim law, and so on. So different countries have got different systems. So ease of doing business, you can have a look at this. We have already looked at the website. Okay, COVID has been a major factor. Every country is affected by COVID, and the growth ranking, if you see the growth ranking, most of the countries have negative growth in the last 1 year or 2 years period. So the last slide obviously is a kind of summation of what I want to share with you. A lot of international events that has shaped global business, starting from the Beirut blast. If you remember the Beirut 1 year or 2 years before, the blast that took place and destroyed the whole city. You remember the ship, the port blast that destroyed the whole city. Then America-China trade war, it is a continuing thing. Okay, then Brexit, India-China conflict, Middle East conflict, okay, terrorism, COVID-19, Quad. Quad is something that we discussed. AUKUS, we just discussed. Afghanistan, we discussed. So, all these kind of factors are really affecting international business. So if you don't read newspaper or if you don't watch news, it's very difficult to understand international business. Okay, so that's why I keep saying, go through websites, read to news, listen to news, and not from just one country. You need to have divergent viewpoints. It's very, very important. If you are from China, don't just listen to China Global Times only. Listen to BBC, listen to CNN, listen to different countries' news channels to get different perspectives on what is happening in different countries. Same way, if you're from, let's say, Nigeria, don't just stick to the news from only your country. Open up yourself to the news portals of other countries. So this will give you ideas about culture, politics, legal systems, currency issues, and so on and on, trade wars and so on of different countries. So I think that brings to an end to today's class. From my side, that's the end of the story for me. I'm open to questions now. If you have questions, please ask me. If you have doubts, do ask me. If you have any other issues, please raise it here. I hope your assignment task 2 and 3 are taken care of. So please spend time this week to finish it. Don't wait, because now you know what to do. So you divide and get it done by next week, because next week I'm going to go to another important topic of your assignment. So if you lag behind, definitely you will not get good score, my dear friends. You have to follow my instructions. You give me some crap, I give you some crappy marks. Don't feel bad about it at the end of the day. Okay? You do what I'm telling you to do, you get good marks. That's how it works. Okay? You give me crap, I give you crap in return. So I hope you understand my expectations very clearly. You have to do a lot of reading, a lot of research if you want to get, let's say, 70 plus or 75 plus marks in my paper. Okay. The quiz is for you to do practice. You can take the quiz multiple times until you get 100%, but that is not having any marks weightage, but for you to practice, get to know how much you know about the subject and so on. So feel free to retake the quiz as many times as you feel is required. It's open for multiple attempt. Any other questions you have? Hey guys, I really love to listen to your voice, not just chatting, So if you can talk to me, I would love to hear your lovely, sexy voice. I really love to listen to you guys. So please talk to me. Yeah, this is for practice. It has nothing to do with your final score. Okay? Why Chinese are working? Today is a Sunday. What happened, guys? Anything special? Is there a replacement holiday? Oh, okay, got it. So it's okay. In Malaysia, for example, a public holiday falls on Sunday, then Monday we get a replacement holiday, you know. So we get 2 holidays at a stretch we can enjoy. But it's okay, I understand the situation there. So you guys, you can talk to me later also. If you have questions, you can WhatsApp me or call me. If you want to discuss further, I'll be happy to discuss and debate with you on any issues, okay? And remember, when I discuss issues, I discuss without any bias. Okay, so whichever I feel is a good example, I just take that country. Doesn't mean I am trying to belittle your country. I want to show negative side of your country. No, we just discuss every country, the point, both positives and negatives. That's it. Okay, so I may talk about China more because majority of the students are from China. And a lot of things are related to China also when we're talking about global trade. So I might take China more frequently. I might take India more frequently. I might take Malaysia more frequently. I might take America more frequently, or, you know, UK, or, you know, France, or, you know, Australia frequently. I mean, that's what, you know, things, issues are happening in these countries. So we pick it up. So it has nothing to do with, you know, belittling your country, or, you know, I'm against you or your country or culture. No, nothing like that. Okay. All right, good. Any other issues? Anything? Have you all taken your attendance?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, good then. If you have no questions, goodbye. Enjoy your break, lunch break, because I know you have another session coming up. Okay, guys, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.